Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, I need your help with something. I got some stickers for my channel. You'll see right here, Evan's Garage, YouTube, whatever. I had like 6 of these made off of eBay. I thought I had them in that drawer. I have them somewhere. A seller on eBay made them. Can somebody make me YouTube stickers like that, and I'll pay you. I'll PayPal you. I'm not asking to give them away. But could someone that's subscribed or watching this video, if you have the ability to make those out of vinyl and have them decals, like where you peel the back off, they're clear, you stick it on and peel the front off. If you can make those, comment below and I'll get in touch with you. Because I want to buy like 50 or 100 of those or something. And then if I can do that and buy them, if someone wants them, I'll just start giving them away and sending them to subscribers that want them. And I know there's places I could get them made, but if I can help out a subscriber that makes them, give them the business, I'll do that. So if you want to make me some and I'll pay you, comment below. So today we're going to go over putting a CVT or a torque converter, whatever you want to call it, on your mini bike. Tons of people call it different things. But this method that I do, and I'm not the first one to do it, not the last one, it's simple. But the way I do it is I don't raise the engine at all. I didn't even unbolt or loosen or move the engine on this Coleman. And I did the same thing on my Ruttman mini bike like 6 months ago. So what I did is I basically just held it up, found 2 holes that would line up that were already existing, and then I just took my angle grinder, just cut the bottom off. And there's also, I already did this to make sure it would work before I filmed it. I did this like 3 months ago and I've been riding it around just to make sure everything was good. But there's a heat shield right back here. You'll see it as soon as you look at your bike. It looks like a big silver diaper. It's held on with 2 8mm bolts. Once you pull that off, it fits perfectly. In my other bike, I did this 6 months ago. I've rode it a ton. It doesn't affect anything, taking off that heat shield. And on the Coleman, when you do this, you don't even have to shorten the chain or lengthen it or anything. When you do these 2 holes, so this top one and this middle one here, it doesn't even affect anything. It makes it the same length as the old jack shaft setup, and the chain pops right on. I also want to note on the Coleman, before you order a torque converter, CVT, whatever, you want to make sure your shaft on the engine here measures 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Some of these, I've been told it's the older ones, but they actually have a 5/8 shaft. And I think there's some kind of sleeve you can buy, or you can just change the crank out. It's not that hard to do, but I think there's some kind of sleeve or something you can buy. So that's that way. But let me show you the installation now. Now the kit that I got on eBay didn't come with the right hardware for my bike. So I just went to the hardware store and bought some. It should be 5/16 fine thread, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong because it's been months, for the bolt here and the bolt here. This one I know is 5/16 fine thread, and I used a 2.5 inch bolt right there. And the only thing that you're missing right now, or that I've already done that's not on camera, is I just cut that bottom off, and that's it. Now obviously unbolt the jack shaft stuff, which is self-explanatory. Just take all the bolts off. But I got it just to this point to show you how to do it. And I'm not taking this all apart and pulling the chain off and everything, because it's really easy to show you right here anyway, because it gives you an idea of how it should sit. Also, to put this bolt in for the cover, you gotta take the exhaust off because it brings it up so much. So that's really the only downside to this, but then you don't have to raise the engine up and make it look all goofy and waste your time and risk chain alignment issues that way. So what we do, obviously you put your 10mm bolt in on the top and bottom, just like that, and then you just put this spacer on, like so. You put this on here, like so. Put your brass bushing on, which you don't really need. It'll wear through eventually and just disappear, but we'll put it on there. Why not? Then what I like to do, you don't have to do this in this particular order, but for this video, and if this key isn't on there, you just put the key in, and the sprocket that comes with it has to line up with the keyway. A lot of these CVTs though, when you get them off of eBay, are already assembled. You don't even have to put this back part together. The front part is the only part, obviously, because this has to come off to do your two 10mm bolts. So I don't know what I'm doing here. I just put that in the wrong shaft. I'll leave that in there to show everyone makes mistakes. I won't edit out my mistakes. That slides on there, right here. And then I just thread this on by hand to start. No need for Loctite on that, it's a lock nut. And then I take my impact. You can use a ratchet too, obviously, but with a 5/16. And I don't do it very tight just because there's bearings in there. And you'll see the collar on the back will pull on the bearing in there and put too much preload on it. So I just kind of gas and just snug it up. I've never had an issue on any of these doing it that way. I don't think there's a torque spec. If there is, I don't know it. So take the belt, and you'll see there's a side on the belt that's beveled, and there's also an arrow. Mine, it's worn off. But then you throw the belts on the ground. But you take the piece that's beveled and you put it facing out. So the flat part goes against this flat pulley here. And you just put it on like so. And just put it on this back one first. It might pop off the front in a second, who knows. And just push it on. And just work it on. Sometimes you can kind of roll the bike forward or just like that. And I'm doing all this one-handed while holding the camera here. It's super easy. Then take this piece, put it on like so, with the tapered piece going in towards the tapered part of the belt. And what we're gonna do, and I want to show you, if you're seeing that how self-explanatory this is, and you're gonna not watch the rest of the video, skip a little ways to the end because I'm going to show you about belt alignment and how these aren't always going to be aligned perfectly from the factory. And I'll probably save you a belt when I do this if you don't already know. If you've never messed with like snowmobiles or something, then you'll know. Now this can only go on one way because the flat piece has to go on the flat and the round. So you can't mess that up. Flat, flat, round, round. And then the key on this lines up with the key on the shaft. So I just start the bolt here. And then I turn that till it lines up. Just make sure it's nice and threaded in. And I'm going to switch over to, it's a standard bolt, but I am using a 13mm socket because it fits perfectly, even though technically it shouldn't be a 13mm. I have no idea what size it would be in standard. And just lightly go. When it stops, I'm just going to tighten it a bit with my impact. And I just put, I don't Loctite this bolt, but I just put two lock washers on the end, which don't come with the kit, and I've never had an issue. I put one time and the bolt flew out. I don't know if I didn't tighten it enough or what. So I just put two now and it seems to work fine. So someone will tell me in the comments if that's wrong, probably anyway. Now you'll notice that the belt sits right up against here and it doesn't really touch this pulley. So what that's going to do is when you twist the throttle, and I'll show you this with the engine running, but it pushes this shaft, or not shaft, but this circle part out up against the belt, and that's what engages it. So if you have, because the kit comes with some washers back here where I put this black spacer, if you have this too far out, your bike's going to want to drag and move and stuff while it's idling, and you're going to go through belts. My first bike, I had it a little too far out that I did this on, and I went through one of these Chinese belts in like a week. But I had this aligned right, and this is the same kit, and this belt's been on here for months. And I've ridden it in the woods, and my friends were having wheelie contests on this bike, so it's good now. And then, if you want to run a cover with this setup, because it goes against the bottom of the bike, you can kind of cut the bottom out and do things to make it fit, or you can just do the 2 top bolts, like what I ended up doing, and it will actually work perfectly. Let's get it on there. It just sits on the bottom of the thing, and I don't have any issues with it. It doesn't come off. I did it on my other bike too. So now that that's tightened up, we're going to put the exhaust back on. Kind of self-explanatory at this point, but that's going to go on just like that. So now I'm going to start it up. I'll show you how it'll just sit here and idle when your belt's aligned right. I didn't adjust the idle, this is stock. And then when I hit the gas, I'll show you how the bike slowly starts to move. And that's what you should look for in yours. So it's louder right now, but you'll see. So I don't know if you could even hear me, but you can see it'll idle, and I can just give it the smallest amount of gas and it'll just creep up, and then that's how it should be. It's more precise, say, than the clutch setup where it's slip and not grab. And if it's set up right, you'll be able to make your bike move so slow you can hold it with one hand and it'll just go less than walking speed. And that's how you know it's right. And this will do wheelies. It goes like 20 miles an hour faster than stock. I had it showing 40 on my GPS. So enjoy. You can find these for like 60 bucks on eBay. Just remember to get it for 3/4 inch shaft. Check to see if you have a 3/4 inch shaft first. And don't forget to get it for a 420 chain. And that is all. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a good day.